In this class, we shall discuss the question bank of Module 5. So, we will discuss as per the topics. So, the first one is explain the schematic block diagram of basic communication system in detail. So, this is the diagram you can see. The block diagram contains information source, information input transducer, transmitter, channel, receiver, output transducer, and a final destination. So information source will usually be a message signal, the message what you will be giving, and that will be converted into a electrical signal by using a information input transducer. Let me discuss one by one now. So you need to practice the diagram, block diagram, such that you will write it properly in the exam. So the process of electrical communication involves sending and receiving and processing information in electrical form. This is a process of the communication. So the basic communication system consists of certain units called constituents, subsystem or stages. We may also note that the information to be transmitted passes through a number of stages of communication system prior it reaches its destination. The figure shows the block diagram here. The main constituents of basic communication system are information source, input transducer, transmitter, channel, medium, noise, receiver, output transducer, and a final destination. So coming into an information source or an input transducer and an input transducer. The physical form of information is represented by a message that is originated by an information source. For example, sentence or paragraph spoken by a person is a message that contains some information. The person in this case acts as information source. If the information produced by the source is not in an electrical form, it has to be converted into an electrical form by using a transducer. Example, microphone. So the electrical signal produced by a transducer is called as baseband signal. It is also called as message signal and an information signal and is usually designed by S of T. There are two types of signal, analog signal and a digital signal. Transmitter that processes the baseband signal received from transducer prior transmission. There are two following options for processing signal prior to transmission. The baseband signal, which lies in the low frequency spectrum, is translated to a high frequency spectrum called carrier communication system. The baseband signal is transmitted without translating it to a higher frequency spectrum. Baseband communication system. The carrier communication system is based on the principle of translating a low, the frequency baseband signal to high frequency spectra. The process is modulation. The channel or medium. After the required processing, the transmitter section passes the signal to the transmission medium. The signal propagates through the transmission medium and is received at other side by the receiver station. The transmission medium between the transmitter and the receiver is called as a channel. Most of the noise is added to the signal during its transmission through the channel. Depending on the physical implementation, channel can be classified into two groups. One is hardware channel and the software channel. These channels are man-made structure, hardware channels. The three possible implementation of hardware channel are transmission line, waveguide, optical fiber cable. Software channels. These are the certain natural resources that can be used as a software channel. Air or open space, sea water. Noise. Noise is defined as unwanted electrical signal of random and unpredictable nature. Noise is an external disturbance which does not contain any useful information. Noise is a highly undesirable part of a communication system and has to be minimized. When noise is mixed with transmitted signal, it rides over it, and the result is alteration of original information so that wrong information is received. The designer provides adequate signal strength at the time of transmission so that high SNR is available at the receiver. The function of the receiver section is to separate the noise from the receiver signal and then recover the original baseband signal by performing demodulation process. A voltage amplifier first amplifies the received signal so that it becomes strong enough for further processing and then recovers the original information. The demodulation process removes the high frequency carrier from the received signal and retrieves the original baseband signal. Output transducer and final destination. The recovered baseband signal is handed over to the final destination, which uses a transducer to convert this electrical signal to its original form. Prior to handing over the recovered baseband signal to its final destination, the voltage and the power are amplified by the amplifier stage. So next we shall discuss what is channel, explain the classification of channel. After the required processing, the transmitter section passes the signal to the transmission medium. The signal propagates through the transmission medium and is received at other side by the receiver station. The transmission medium between the transmitter and receiver is called as channel. In general, the transmitting power, signal bandwidth and cost of communication system are affected by the channel characteristics. The channel are classified into following two groups: hardware channel and a software channel. What do you mean by hardware channel here? These channels are man-made structure which can be used as a transmission medium. There are following three possible implementation of the hardware channels: transmission line waveguide, optical fiber cable. The example of transmission lines are twisted pair cable used in landline telephone and coaxial cable used for cable TV transmission. Transmit signal at UHF range. Waveguide are employed as medium. Waveguide are hollow, circular, rectangular and metallic structure. Signals enters the waveguide are reflected at the metallic walls and propagate towards the other end of waveguide. Optical fiber cable are highly sophisticated transmission medium in the form of extremely thin circular pipes. The signal are transmitted in the form of light energy in optical fiber cable. A communication system that makes use of hardware channel is called as line communication system. Example, landline telephony and cable TV network. Software channel, these are the certain natural resources which can be used as a transmission medium for signal. Such transmission medium are called software channel. Example, air or open space and sea water. We may not note that in communication system that use software channel that is not physical link between the transmitter and a receiver. The most commonly used software channels are electromagnetic waves. So usually when the radio waves travel through the open space at the speed equal to the light, that is c is equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 8 milliseconds. The transmission section converts the electrical signals into EM wave or radiations by using a transmitting antenna. These waves are radiated into open space by the transmitting antenna. At the receiver side, another antenna called receiving antenna is used to pick up the radio waves and convert them into a corresponding electrical signals. The system that use a radio wave to transmit a signal through open space are called radio communication system. Example: radio broadcast, television transmission, satellite communication, and cellular mobile communication. By this, I shall end the video. We shall discuss few more question and answers in the next class.